Good day. How are you doing? This is Antigonus. We're back with Chapter 11 of Final Fantasy VII Remake. So we are, over halfway through the game at this point. This chapter is known as Haunted. We are in the train graveyard trying to get back to Sector 7 after we fell into Don Corneo's trap and escaped the sewers.
We could get lost in here.
This is the train graveyard, all right. A real treasure trove of scrap. Sector 7 should be just past that large maintenance facility over there. I vote we stay in the light so we can see where we're going. Dark everywhere.
That it?
So the train graveyard is basically like a scrap yard where they just dump all the old trains they don't use anymore. So it's not really well lit. There's trains everywhere, but they're not like lined up in any order. And then there's also just like storage crates and stuff everywhere. There's fog. There's a giant maintenance facility in the middle of it. And then on the other,
deserted,
so
and kind of creepy. People don't come around here often. Not just because of the monsters, but because of the stories. What kind? Everyone seems to think that the train graveyard is haunted. Those who lose their way out there in the dark of night will never, ever find their way back home again.
Is that right?
I mean, it's not like I think it's true or anything. But you know, it's just...
Then let's hurry.
So, like, we're going through old ruined cars that are, dilapidated, falling apart.
Well, this isn't good.
And, there's were-rats, there's various enemies.
Go on!
I'll be honest, this is not my favorite chapter of the game. In fact, probably maybe my least favorite chapter.
You're good at this.
It's
Told you so.
totally filler content. It felt like filler in the original game. And in the original game, it was a short segment, not a full sequence like it is in the remake. We just got Aerith's Mithril Rod, which gives her ultimate attack. I forgot I haven't been using her abilities, so she hasn't learned. Sorcerer's Storm yet, so I'll have to use that a bunch so that I can switch her over to the Mithril Rod, which is her strongest magically oriented weapon. We're climbing up, stacks of elevators that are on like stacks of, short little like flatbed cars, and then we're going down. But yeah, this segment is basically filler content. There's not a lot of significant story development here. They could have very easily had the sewers skip straight to the next part. So the door blew open on a abandoned building that we're gonna go through, and a bunch of monsters came out of it.
Best do it right.
So these are Cryptches, nocturnal carnivores found in the train graveyard. These violent, aggressive creatures hunt for prey in packs. Will not hesitate. I hate these enemies. They only show up
I'll show you what I can do.
in Chadley's combat challenges, and then in this particular chapter.
I'm backing off a bit.
So
I think I just heard a little kid. Did you guys hear it too?
Why would there be kids out here this late?
What? Then...
Pete is afraid of ghosts. Head on through another ruined train car. This one's so ruined that we have to like slide through because a big chunk of the ceiling is caved in. But just dark. And we see there, and as we see out the window, there's like magical energy floating in the air, so a ghost basically. The slow, rhythmic, ominous music is very, Halloween-y. We see, you know, magical paint on the ground, ghost-shaped things.
Let's go.
Let us through.
You know, the ghosts are basically giving us directions, telling us where to go.
Don't overdo it.
All set. I'll take care of them. Hey, you asked for it. Get him.
More enemies.
I'd keep my distance if I were you.
Awesome. And because I was using Sorcerer's Storm the way it was intended, I was gaining what's known as proficiency bonuses, which was enabling me to learn the attack faster. So I only used it like 4 or 5 times, but I got the full 100%. When you're just trying to spam things, you only gain 10 points, so you have to use it the full 10 times. So now I can switch Aerith's weapon to the Mithril Rod, which will give her a boost in magic of 48 points. She does lose a little HP and attack and physical attack power, but she doesn't really use physical attacks and in this game. So there's really not much point in not just giving her maximum magic unless you're going for a more defensive build, I guess. So we're walking along the top of some train cars that are like flipped over. Now we're walking along like a freight car, and we're on top of the door that would be open to get inside it, and it falls in.
You okay?
All good, I think. Still in one piece here, too. Guys?
And then a message from the ghosts
Seriously?
says, "Come on in," and there's like an arrow to the door.
Well, that's inviting.
Run over here because there's some boxes that I can break, and I'll get some high potions for free. Always take free stuff.
All right, let's see what's inside.
We're gonna walk up to the door, and you know the ghosts paint all over it. Then the door opens on its own.
Well, what do you think? I'm game.
Huh?
But it'll be fine. We've got a bodyguard, don't forget. Mine.
She grabs onto Cloud's
Right?
arm, his left arm.
Ghosts aren't my thing.
Tifa does the same thing on his
You're
other
just
arm.
being modest. After you.
Mind letting me go then?
Cloud walks forward out of their grasp, and then we go into the train maintenance facility. So basically, there's a long path that goes through the middle of the facility.
What was that?
And there's like tracks on both sides, and then on the other sides of the tracks, there's like also places where we can walk. But we have to get through the trains to get on them because we can't walk on the tracks. And then there's like suspended bridges up on the second floor that we can see. And there's rooms on those floors, and then the ceiling is glass, so there is like some light shining through. But it's very dark, so we can't really see all the way to the end. And there's a giant control room on the second floor in the back. So
Found you.
Aerith found one of the ghosts that's playing pranks on
Hey.
us.
Can we talk? Just for a bit?
The ghost of a child got lost in the... And then the child's ghost turns into an enemy. It's like a weird... They're like... The ghost enemies are like weird... They look like... You know, floating things covered in like white sheets that are like sewn together. Something right out of a Halloween, you know, or other. We'll scan them here. Okay, let's see what it says. Spirits that drift about the train graveyard. These troubling pests set upon passersby and cause mischief as well as harm, to what end nobody knows. They cast shield when hit with a physical attack and reflect when hit by magic. Use magic attacks when they have cast shield and physical attacks when they have reflect. They're weak to fire, they resist ice, they're immune to silence. So this one casted reflect on it, which is like a crystal-shaped thing next to its name. And we defeated it. So we're gonna try to pass on through.
It's you. Don't!
That thing's dangerous.
I know, but even so.
It's got like a weird crying kind of face painted onto the front of the sheet-looking thing. And then the ghost flies off. Like a big black mist happens.
Run!
And it drops a train car that was like being held up by like an old
Okay.
you know,
Thanks, Cloud. You saved
thing
us.
on the second floor. It was like, you know, held up by like a metal thing, and that caused some debris and stuff to fall, so now we can't go across. We have to navigate the facility.
Gonna need to find another way through.
Can't afford to lose focus.
And some of the regular monsters. Are out to get us here.
Let me handle it. It's all.
We're gonna go into one of the trains once the door opens.
What now?
This train will be stopping at the FF7 Remake and is bound for the train graveyard. The train will be...
So one of the lights lit up on one of the trains, and then we hear its old recording from its last trip before it was sent, and we walk up the tracks, and then the car attached to the car we're on gets pulled up by the maintenance claw. The door closes. So we have to go out
Guess the crane's up there.
into the side platform. Then we have a staircase we can take up to the second level. And you know, we see the ghosts, you know, telling us to come on, but I know that door's locked, so I'm not going to waste time going over to open it. I pull down the
It's not
lever.
working. There's no power coming through.
I wonder if this is another prank. Someone might be messing with the power supply to make us run around.
So we're gonna have to go through here, and we see the ghosts, like the black mist that represents the ghosts, and it flies into the control room in the back. So we're gonna have to investigate the ghosts in order to get through this. as soon as we're about to leave.
I found you.
Aerith found a ghost. There's 2 of them this time, unlike the one we fought below.
No escape.
So both of them put up their shield spell, which makes them immune to physical attacks. So we'll have to use fire.
Get fired up. Go on.
Calling fire.
Both out. Door opens. And there's like junk laying everywhere, so it's not exactly easy to navigate through here. We have to like snake around, right? And so now we enter into one of the other rooms, and...
Do you think there's more in here?
Looks like. Aha! Found you.
And there's just one this time.
All set. Come on. Come on.
If you kill it fast enough, it won't be able to shield itself. But I didn't. But it doesn't matter because it's almost dead anyway. Took it out. So we won't be able to access the control room from this side because the door's locked. So we're going to have to head down. Chest down here I can grab. 3 bottles of Echo Mist. That'll cure silence. So this chapter annoyingly has 2 bosses. So we'll have one in this video and then one in the next video as well.
Going in.
Sorry, but we're in a rush. Let me handle this. Yeah. There's no escape. Yeah. Come on.
So Tifa's like strength is that she actually builds up ATB faster than she spends it. So her abilities are crazy. There's people that can do all sorts of crazy things with her, like beating endgame combat challenges in like 6 minutes and things like that with the amount they can manipulate the stagger gauge and such. I'm personally not able to do that, but there are videos on YouTube, unfortunately not narrated like mine, where this is Let the Battles Begin. It's one of the battle themes from the original game. It's been adapted into the remake soundtrack, of course. Like the battle theme from Chapter 2 in Sector 8 was an adaptation of this theme. So we're about to head into the control room. I'm gonna save here. Because there is a boss fight coming up. So we're gonna, one of the computer modules is still on, so we're gonna activate it to try to reactivate power to the crane.
Huh?
And suddenly everything gets dark. And we see things flying around. Metal being thrown at us, boxes, etc. And all of a sudden, like, a bunch of ghosts fly out of nowhere. They're swirling around.
Coming to get you?
And they're now swirling into like a giant mass, and they're gonna turn into one gigantic ghost. They turn into what's known as the ghoul. It's like a giant ghost. It's got multiple eyes, like multiple arms that all have claws at the end. It's got psionic powers, so obviously it can throw,
I don't
you know,
have time for your shit.
so I'm gonna assess it first with Cloud.
That's
All right.
it, right.
An aggregate of all the ghosts. The large amount of baleful energy that results from this aggregation allows it to use telekinesis. Switches between a physical and ghostly form. Neither magic attacks against the physical form nor physical attacks against the ghost form have any effect on its stagger gauge, or can do damage at all, actually. Use magic attacks against its ghostly form to rapidly fill its stagger gauge. So it'll turn into it'll like turn red, and that means it's immune to physical attacks, and now it has to use magic. It can be poisoned, unlike the Absu boss in the last chapter, which is nice, so I'll be able to use bio on it when it changes its form.
Gotta be careful.
Stay strong, okay?
And in Final Fantasy games, healing magic actually does damage to,
You ready?
healing magic actually does damage to, undead enemies, so like the ghost.
Can you take over for me? Get him!
Gonna hurt.
So we poisoned it.
Take it from here.
I got this.
And now it's pressured and it returned to its normal form. So we'll be able to do physical damage to it now.
Bring it! Finish him off! Now's our chance! I'll take care of this.
Leave it to me.
Heads up! One more shot!
All right, so almost about a little bit on over half health. And like a weird head thing bulged out of it. Now it's spreading like blue flames at us, throwing all the different computer consoles. So things are like stacked on top of each other. You know, the floor is just like worn out tile basically. And now it's shooting like fire at us. And so we have to navigate around all of the mess that it's made in order to get back to it. It is taking poison damage steadily though, which is nice because that's passive damage, which is super helpful when fighting against bosses that are like part of their mechanic is just getting up to them. Because that way, even if they hold you back, as long as you're alive, they're still taking damage.
How's this? Think fast. Give me your best shot.
And sometimes it can stun your team. Some bosses can stun your team, like this one just did to Cloud with Piercing Scream. And now it's, you know, and then the fire will explode after a short time, doing a bunch of damage. So Tifa just,
Okay, up and at him.
and literally it exploded as soon as I revived her, so it didn't actually revive her. So now I'm down to just
Still
Cloud.
up for it?
Let's turn this around.
Don't overdo it.
Gotta focus or it's over. Right.
Won't last long.
So if Aerith would get her limit break, that would be fantastic, but it doesn't appear to be so I'm just gonna have to use potions.
Start. We gotta switch it out.
I'll do what I can. This one's for you! I'll take care of you. One more shot! Sorry, but
Taking
you
over.
handle
I'll
it.
take over.
Alright, Tifa has her limit break, so I'll be able to use somersault, which is she just does a somersault, but it like goes into a kick, does 2 hits of big damage, and that takes it out. Aerith leveled up. The bosses in this chapter are very annoying.
All this time,
Yep.
you were waiting for someone to come and play with you.
What are you talking about? Come on, let's get back to the crane.
So now we're gonna turn the computer back on. Oh, actually, no, the crane is on now. So we can go back to it. We can unlock the locked door on the other side of the control room, which takes us back to an area we passed by earlier. We were running through the different rooms that had the ghosts in them.
Those who lose their way out there
And then we'll go back through one room.
home again. What do you
This
guys
takes
think
us
will
into
happen
a
if it
second
does?
room, and these are just like,
Maybe they're the ones who were caught.
Can we just drop the whole...
What if they're trapped here and can't leave?
you know, these rooms are rooms that used to have, you know, tables and chairs and various things in them, you know, break rooms or whatnot, but now they're dilapidated, ruined. So we pull down the thing again, and the crane lowers the train.
Just like we hoped. What a relief.
We should be able to get through now.
Let's find out.
And we walk up, and the train car's there now, so we can come out. And then there's another train car that we can get into, and that one, and we walk through these couple train cars, and then that one opens back up into the center pathway, but now we're all the way at the end.
We're through.
Great. Let's head outside. Wait.
Picture of a ghost crying.
A girl?
Marlene?
She's having a vision here. Now she's thinking back.
The kids that the Black Wind carries away have to live in the train graveyard forever and ever. So you have to stay far, far away from there.
All right then, I will.
Oh, you know Betty? Yesterday she went with her daddy to... When is Daddy coming back?
Actually, he might not make it home tonight. Marlene, what are you?
It's just a vision. So Marlene's not actually dead.
We can't waste any more time here.
Tifa looking determined. We can't.
What
Gotta
was
keep
that about?
going.
Nothing you need to worry about. Let's get going.
She was just thinking back to a conversation she had with Marlene in 7th Heaven. So we're going to rest here at the bench. And I'm going to save, and that'll be all for this video. We are halfway through Haunted. And so, on the next video, we'll finish this chapter up. The next chapter after this one will be a pretty intense one, so just be ready for that. And thank you for joining the program as usual, and I look forward to having you view my videos in the future.